Hello and welcome to the Sharp Psych. We all have moments where our thoughts become overwhelming and we find it difficult to live in the present. Whether it's thinking about a difficult situation or replaying a past event, feeling stuck in your head can be incredibly distressing. It can leave you feeling helpless and unable to move on. As a result, a lot of people are desperately asking how they can break out of this cycle of negative thought patterns and learn to let go of the past. In this video, we'll explore the concepts of overthinking, its causes and signs, and finally, we'll go over some strategies to move forward and start living in the present. But first, please don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon so that you get notified of any new videos that could help you. Also, check out the links in the descriptions for my best recommendations. Now, let's get into it. The first thing we'll talk about is the concept of overthinking itself. This problem is now becoming common and arises when our thoughts become repetitive and intrusive. It can manifest as ruminating on past events, worrying about future scenarios, or questioning our own decisions and abilities. We can find ourselves caught in a cycle of negative thinking, unable to move on or find a resolution. This can lead to feelings of stress, anxiety, and even depression. However, it's important to note that overthinking is a normal psychological process, and it can be beneficial when used in the right context. For example, it can help us to solve problems more effectively or to create a plan of action. But when it becomes excessive or intrusive, it can be incredibly damaging to our mental health. As stress, anxiety, and depression could be the result of overthinking, there are also considered potential causes. These psychological issues can lead to a heightened sense of worry, which in turn can lead to obsessive thinking. This can be especially true when we're faced with an uncertain situation or when we feel trapped and unable to take action. It can also be triggered by people who are prone to perfectionism or have a tendency to overanalyze everything. In addition, certain life events can also trigger overthinking. For example, the death of a loved one, a breakup, or a major life transition can lead to a heightened sense of self-doubt and worry. But you don't necessarily have to go through a traumatic event to become an overthinker. Sometimes it can even be triggered by mundane tasks, such as making a decision or completing a project. Signs of overthinking often manifest in different ways, but there are some common indicators. In this section, we'll go over the most known signs. Number 1, feeling overwhelmed or stuck in a cycle of thought. Number 2, becoming preoccupied with a problem and not being able to move on. Number 3, worrying excessively about potential consequences of decisions. Number 4, a tendency to catastrophize or assume the worst-case scenario. Number 5, obsessing over details of seemingly insignificant matters. Number 6, feeling like nothing is ever good enough or feeling a lack of satisfaction with accomplishments. Number 7, an inability to make decisions promptly. Number 8, feeling an obsessive need to analyze and solve problems. Number 9, feeling physically worn out due to over-processing of thoughts. And number 10, feeling tense and stressed out, even in situations that aren't particularly stressful. If you find some of the signs in yourself or someone you know, or even if you're feeling imprisoned in your mind and you don't know how to break from this negative cycle, we would like to suggest the following strategies that you can try. The first step is to identify any triggers that may be causing your overthinking. This can be anything from a particular situation or conversation to a feeling of stress or anxiety. Once you're aware of any potential triggers, you can start to take steps to reduce their impact. Mindfulness can be incredibly helpful when it comes to reducing overthinking. This involves focusing on your present experience and being aware of your thoughts and actions. With enough time, you can become more aware of any negative thoughts and start to reframe them more positively. One of the main causes of overthinking is uncertainty. We often find ourselves worrying about the future or regretting the past, but this can be avoided by learning to accept uncertainty. This involves acknowledging that the future is unpredictable and that it's okay to be uncertain. To do that, you need to have a constant reminder that you do not have to have all the answers and that life can still be enjoyed in the absence of certainty. When we find ourselves caught in a cycle of overthinking, it can be helpful to take a step back and challenge our thoughts. This involves questioning the validity of your thoughts and asking yourself if they are true. For example, if you find yourself worrying about the future, ask yourself if this is an accurate representation of what will happen. It's important to remember that our thoughts are not always true, and that it's okay to challenge them. One of the best ways to stop overthinking is to focus on the present moment. This involves being aware of your thoughts, feelings, and actions, and accepting them without judgment. It can be helpful to practice mindful activities such as meditation or yoga to help stay in the present moment. In addition, we would suggest taking some time for yourself to enjoy activities such as reading, listening to music, or taking a walk. Once you've identified the triggers and strategies for stopping overthinking, the last thing you can do is learn how to take control of your thoughts. This involves being aware of the thoughts that are running through your head and actively reframing them in a more positive way. This can help to reduce the intensity of your thoughts and to gain perspective on the situation. It's also important to remember that it's okay to have negative thoughts from time to time. Let's talk about some ways to overcome these problems. These few suggestions can be helpful. The first step is to learn to let go of your thoughts and focus on the present moment. This involves accepting the uncertainty of the future and letting go of the need to control everything. It's important to remember that it's okay to make mistakes and that life can still be enjoyable without having all the answers. The next thing is to learn how to change your perspective and start to view your thoughts more positively. This involves challenging any negative thoughts and reframing them more productively. This can help to reduce their intensity and to gain perspective on the situation. Another important tip is to practice self-care and take time for yourself. This can involve activities such as taking a walk, reading a book, or engaging in creative activities. It's also important to take time to relax and to do things that make you feel good. This can help to reduce any feelings of stress or anxiety and can help you to focus on the present moment. Although I understand that it can be a difficult process letting go of the past, it is essential to move forward and beat overthinking. To do that, the first step is to accept what has happened and acknowledge that it's in the past. In addition, you need to forgive yourself and others for any mistakes that were made and to realize that everyone makes mistakes. Practicing mindfulness, self-care, and spending time with friends and family can help to provide perspective and clarity. Finally, learn to focus on the present moment. Recognize that dwelling on the past can be damaging to your mental health, and try to be kind to yourself. This will help you to recognize that mistakes happen and to focus on the positive aspects of life. An additional tip is to seek professional help if things get too overwhelming. A mental health professional can help you to identify the triggers of your overthinking and to create a plan of action. They can also provide guidance and support as you start to take control of your thoughts and move on. Overthinking can be incredibly damaging to our mental health, but it is possible to break out of the cycle of negative thought patterns. With time and effort, we can learn to let go of the past and start living in the present. Also, if you or someone you know is struggling with overthinking, remember that you are not alone. By taking the steps outlined in this video, you can start to take control of your thoughts and start living in the present. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.